18,521 pieces. That's my puzzle. This is my puzzle. It's my background in most of my videos, and it's hard to see true perspective of it when I'm typically taping in front of it. 18,000 plus pieces. People ask me, they say, Joe, why did you do that? I said, well, there was just a period of my time where I needed some sacred silence, just some Joe time. And then they asked me the question, how do you do it? And I answered quite simply, I said, one piece at a time. And of course, that sounds so cliche-ish, one piece at a time, yeah, but it's the truth. It's something I've learned over the past 30 years that it isn't the goal that really typically knocks people off track. It's the day-to-day progression towards the goal that most people kind of get sidetracked with. For me, when I'm doing something, when I set my mind to something, when my heart is guided to do something, I remove time frames. I literally do. When I started this puzzle, I had no expectation of how long it was going to take me. I didn't really care. I was enjoying putting the puzzle together as I was building it. I was literally on a podcast earlier today, and the man wanted to hear my story. He said, well, how is Project Smile doing so well? Why is it doing so well? Well, the answer isn't because of the past 4 months. The answer is because of the past 30 years. 30 years ago, I went into a 7-year hiatus, removing myself from life to grow, to heal, to shift, to become more one with God. I call it a modern-day monk experience. Literally for 7 years, most of my 30s, I lived on less than $3,000 a year, not a month, a year. Why? Because I wanted to heal. I was tired of hurting all the time. What happened for me during that 7 years is I learned about the depths of ourself called the inner child. I became aware of the concept of a higher power. That when I said the name God or Allah or Spirit or Great Spirit, the hair on my neck used to raise years ago. Well, over time, I realized that was just my arrogance, my ego. And things would get in the way. And over time, I kind of softened that and I started to create a relationship with this power. And how did I do it? I remember one day I realized to myself, I said, what is guiding me? Who is guiding me? Is it the fear-based, wounded, never getting his way Joe? Or is it a grander Joe? And I'll never forget it. I was sitting outside of a movie theater and I said to myself, do I want to learn how to be guided by a higher presence, this presence most people call God, the essence that created the universe, the trees, the grass, the sand? Or do I want to be guided by the me who has created kind of a dog crap life? In that moment, I realized I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn how to create a relationship with that power. Now, at the time, I had no patience. At the time, I had no serenity. At the time, I was hurting all the time. And just because I was hurting didn't mean I could quit. Just because I was confused didn't mean I didn't wake up the next day working and trying. Just because I was lonely and lost and crying and grieving and raging every day during that period, none of the angst gave me permission to quit. And I didn't. I just kept moving forward. We fast forward in life, right? And then about 15 years ago is the real reason today my availability to put the time and energy into what I love, the passion of my books, my book We Here, which is going to come out in the bookstores in mid-September, projectsmile.world, a global website that's literally reaching the farthest corners of the planet and expressing and helping people learn, changing generational gaps of poverty and lack of education. Project Smile, that's what our goal is at Project Smile. Starting the live stream, which on our third live stream had 44,000 people live listening to me. Why? Because I just kept moving forward. And I was on a podcast today and I was sharing with the gentleman, Project Smile and my books and my speaking and my TEDx and all of that is possible because 15 years ago, I was guided to start a business. I had no money. I had a good idea. And the idea wasn't even mine. I just took a good idea, saw where it was flawed, and I started working in creating a system. We call that business is called Avion Energy Inc. You can look us up, we're out there. And for 15 years, that business has paid all my bills. If you looked around my house, you would say, you know what? Joe lives in a solid, maybe even solid middle upper class neighborhood. I certainly don't make millions, but I also don't scratch for pennies. Why? Because for 15 years, I was consistent. I worked hard. I put in the extra effort. I made the sacrifices. I did. And I'm sharing all of this with you today because one of the single largest challenges people live in is they have a dream, they have a goal, but they have no plan to accomplish it. And the biggest way to fail, absolutely freaking fail with your dream is put financial pressure on it. It is not your dream's responsibility to pay your light bills. It's yours, not your dreams. It's your responsibility. And as you really get that, and you really understand that, it will change the mindset of the job you do every day. Because you might hate your job. I get it. A lot of people hate their job. Does that give you permission to quit? No, it doesn't. It gives you permission to start other things. It gives you permission to live your dream. It gives you permission to start something you have a passion for. But just because you don't like your job, it doesn't give you permission to quit. Make it better. You be better. Bring more value somehow, some way. Every challenge in our external world has two sides, the world and you. What's your side in that job you hate so much? Maybe you're staying up too late so you're tired before you go in. Maybe you're acting out all day so you have nothing to put into your job. I don't know what your circumstances are, but your emotional capacities to like or dislike something have nothing to do with creating a safety through security of a steady income. Why? Because with that steady income, then you can put time and energy into things you love. Now, of course, that's kind of where the rubber hits the road. And a lot of people say, well, I worked hard, so I should be able to go out on Friday night and drink. Oh, but I thought you had a passion. Well, I do, but I'm going to replace my job. I'm not going to replace my Friday night drinking. Or my Saturday. It's Saturday, Joe. You know college football plays on Saturday. I can't do my dream on Saturday. College football. And Joe, you know for a fact Sundays are already taken. It's NFL. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Stop it. If you have a dream, it's time to move forward. And if you're not, it's on you, no one else. And yes, you might have to videotape these football games if they're that freaking important to you. Or maybe they're not. Maybe this BS about you wanting to be a big movie star or artist or a speaker or an author, maybe it's all BS. It's fine. You get to choose. It's your life. But that's the biggest challenge for most. They blame and then they spin. They blame and then they spin. It's simple. You have a passion for something? Great. Make enough money so you repair and pursue your passion in safety. Great. Now, removing and doing your passion during work time, that's called insanity. Why? No work, no safety, no safety, no security, no security, no space to do your passion. Yes. So what does that mean? You're probably going to have to put the energy in your passion, your purpose, your higher gift, and remove some of the other things that might kind of be fun. Do we have to do that all or nothing? No, of course not. But how about just 2 hours a week? Times 52 weeks, that's 100 hours. If you put 100 hours into writing a book, I promise you in month 13, you'll have a book. If you put 100 hours in pursuing a new business, I promise you in month 13, you'll have a new business. Is that new business going to replace your job? Probably not in the beginning. Can it? Yes. Will it? Yes. When? I don't know. That's the thing Joe got good at years ago. I stopped establishing the when. How long? So I came up with the phrase, it's God's life, not Joe's. In God's time, not Joe's. Everything I do, does it turn to gold? Yes. Over time. Why? because I only pursue things that are inspirations. Inspirations come from my divinity. And divinity doesn't say, okay, Joe, go take action step 1, 2, 3, and 4, and action step 5, it's all going to be done. Divinity guides us in a pursuit that says, do what you love, because that's awareness of God, and do it consistently over time. That's this puzzle. 18,000 pieces. If you look all the way up there, the bird, one of those pieces in that bird, that was the last piece. I don't know if the video shows it, but down here in the corner, this was the first piece down here. And every night, some nights I would skip, some nights it took up an entire room. The table, I had to build a table to do it because the puzzle is 10 feet by 7. I'd have to stretch this strip of green right here, this strip of green. That one strip, 7 weeks. One strip. 7 weeks, every night, a couple hours. What am I good at? Consistency over time. What do I teach my kids? Consistency over time. My oldest is an elite baseball player. My youngest is an elite piano player. Consistency over time. My youngest, when he was 6 years old, 7, 8 years old, we started playing the piano 4 minutes a day. Now we can do an hour a day. So it's all consistency. Persistence over time accomplishes everything. And that's the real goal. When you're guided to do something, whether you know what it is or not, take the action steps, set up a long-term plan, and remove time frames. Make sure you've got security in your life so that your bills are paid. And then use your overflow in your free time to pursue your higher purpose. At ProjectSmile.world, it's part of my purpose. My ultimate purpose is to bring clean water to the globe. Well, I know the way I'm going to do that partly is I have to have an environment where people can educate themselves so that there's a whole new wave of knowledge in a world where generation after generation after generation, because of poverty, the knowledge base stays the same. In the modern world, in my neighborhood, in my household, my kids know more about things than I do. We call it Generation Lap. In poorer communities and less developed communities, the kids know exactly the same, which from a knowledge position isn't enough. That's why ProjectSmile.world was created. My live stream, the smile, very simple, to create a smile. Nothing more, nothing less, to create a smile. And then awareness of our website. I have an inspirational speaker on there every 2 weeks. I do it at 10 o'clock in the morning, US, because the majority of the world is, later on in the day. I'm in Eastern, I'm in Atlanta. So the California people, like my guest next on the 15th of August, Bronson has to get up 3 hours earlier, but everybody else is getting it in the afternoon. From that position, what are we doing on the Smile? Inspirational story, telling our success at ProjectSmile.world, sharing with people that God's inside, and helping people understand that God's passion for you, God's purpose for you, your highest purpose, truly is effortlessly lived whenever you're giving back. Is that the only time? No, but it's the easiest time to see. Go to the grocery store today, hold the door, create a smile, God's purpose. Somebody gives you back change and you say thank you, they get a smile, God's purpose. You're in traffic and somebody cuts you off and you don't do your normal, ugly, stupid cussing stuff. You were kind, God's purpose. So what am I asking people to do on the Smile? Help me spread the word. Is it working? Yeah. Our third live stream, 44,000 people. It grows every 2 weeks. Our goal is 1 billion smiles. Our closest goal, our next goal, is 50,000 to 100,000 smiles on our call. We want to create 1 million smiles a month first, and we're going to grow it from there. Does it happen overnight? No. Will it happen over time? Absolutely, without question. How do I know that? Because I'm not stopping, and people are helping. And what I've learned is that when you're doing something just for the benefit of others, the world is full of just wonderful people, and they really enjoy jumping in and participate. That's my live stream, The Smile. 18,000 500 and some odd pieces. How did I do it? One piece at a time. I could pretty much go through and tell you just about a story on every piece. How? Why did I do it? I needed sacred silence. How did I do it? I removed time frames. It took me 4 years. And the blessing after it's done, every day I walk into this room, I look at this wall and I say, wow, that's a beautiful accomplishment. God's grace. What's your goal? What's your dream? What's your puzzle? What's your big aha? What's the thing you want to create in your life that just seems bigger than you? It's only bigger than you because you're in piece one. I can promise you, by the time I got to where I was looking at about 8 or 10 pieces left, the puzzle got really small. It took me 4 years to get there. I chunked it out into pieces, into portions. Little by little, it all came together. What's yours? Move forward, get support, ask for help. My message to the world is ask, listen, live. Ask a higher power for guidance on a daily basis. Listen to the depths of yourself to see which direction you're supposed to go. Live life for the legacy, which is giving back. I'm going to be in Dubai here in a couple months. I'm going to be on the stage with billionaires. And people ask me, so Joe, what are you going to tell that group of people? I'm going to tell that group of people the exact same. Why? Because God doesn't care how much money you have. God's the one who gave them the money in the first place. Literally, God's grace isn't in the accomplishment of your accumulation. God's grace is in the giving back and the communication with your higher power while you're doing the accumulation. Conscious contact is what my newest book is about. We is about finding community in a divided world. We're not divided. We're all one. Our humanity thinks we are because we look different. We have different politics. We have different power structures. We have different control freaks. We're all one. The same God lives in me that lives in you. That's what we is all about. This is Project Smile's biggest fundraiser. I hope you perk up the bird. What's your passion? What's your purpose? What's your plan? Find your plan. Make a decision you're going to work it. Remove time. Allow it unfold in God's time. And over time, anything is possible. 18,580 some odd pieces. If I could do a puzzle like this by myself, anything was possible.